Hello and welcome. Today is Friday, the 30th day of May, 2014. My name is Derek, and let's take a look at silver and even palladium. 3 charts, 2 on silver. This is a daily chart. We'll take a look at the monthly chart as well, as today's the final day of the month, and palladium going back the last 1/4 century. Last video, which was Tuesday, had an interesting, significant day for... It was a down day, breaking key levels of support, these levels here, and of course that 18 average band. Talked a lot about what was needed for a bull market to come into play. I'm not going to go over that now, but because it broke this key level of support, I was expecting a fast move to the downside, and here, of course, that did play out. Looking at this 18 average band, downtrend, sideways. So in the end of April, and then of course into this month as it came into play, the trend had reversed. Now the question mark is it going to come back and make a bull market? Obviously no. And then the indication on Tuesday was breaking down below this low. Expect to have an occurrence of another leg lower. And of course I'd be expecting a break of this support. For if it doesn't break the key support of 18 low change, which is pretty much already tested, well then that means it's going to have to come back into this range and at some point go higher, and I'll be saying failed move, possible fast move to occur, but we're not even there yet. This key level of support, it's now resistance. It has not been tested as of yet. So let's move this time frame out. Let's take a look at this on a monthly chart now. Price action again below 19. It hasn't been above 20 in a month and a half now. Down only a couple percent for the month. Only 7% volatility. Very, very micro. The volatility is based on what the powers that be want it to be. So I guess I didn't want it to be that big for this particular month. Talked a lot about 1822. That's where it is right there. Test 1 of that area. Test 2, we're in test 3 of that key mark. Breaking key level of support. You got this line here. This line is set at around 16 2/3. I've shown other longer term charts that talk about even this area here. So we'll say about 14 to about 17 as the range for the next leg, if it of course happens to break lower. I like using this 18 band to determine uptrend, sideways action, or downtrend. And well, in here, when this thing was sideways, well, you got above it, and there's your break of resistance, uptrend. So nice little uptrend in here. This little mark in here, coming off an uptrend, was neutrality. Obviously, had the market gone higher, you would have been like, okay, uptrend, a little bit of sideways action and higher, sort of like how downtrend, sideways action, and maybe again a bit lower on the daily chart. But that's how it played out. There's your chart or your period that says, okay, looks like change of direction and fast move towards the downside. For this thing to break higher, this thing's got to start to flatten out. Not even close to it at this stage, considering it hasn't even been above the 18 average of closes since in here. Yeah, the last 4 sessions has been resisting the 18 average of lows. Nothing yet to get excited about, of course, but again, wait for this thing to flatten out, get above it. Resistance has to be established if that's the case. This band would start to go higher, come back to the band, break resistance. There's your signal looking for that bull market to come into play. Now myself, when I'm looking to be buying physical silver, I do not trust fiat currency. Would it be smart to be buying in these upper bull markets, or when the thing is getting its butt kicked, its ass kicked? Price-wise, I'm on the side of, or on the fence. I'd rather buy when it's getting its ass kicked. Now, when I originally got into this, I had no idea what a fiat currency meant here. No idea. Here I did. You research, you're like, oh my God, this is the biggest scam that I've ever seen in the history of anything. Real world, movies, books, huge scam. So when I'm buying silver in here, I'm new. I'm not going to buy much, because what happens if I make some mistakes? Get ripped off, buy something counterfeit? If you're doing this for the first time, it's an advantage if you can get it cheap, which is the case today. but play small, get experience, and when you get more experience, then you can make better decisions later on. But what's interesting, at this time, the price action was around 20 when I bought my first silver maple. I think it was 20 and a half or so American, but the Canadian currency was about 5-6% stronger, something at that time. So it was even a little bit higher. But I bought a couple maples and many more and other different kinds of silver since then. This was a fun period in here. This was number 2 of that $20 silver. We had this nice little area here. This part, instead of the Canadian currency being higher, it was pretty much par. So if I'm looking in here, oh, silver's 1822 US. Oh, it's about 1822 Canadian. Here we are again, buying silver, 23, 24 maples, maybe sometimes even 25 because the demand was extremely high for pure real silver. Price action goes higher. Today, same thing in the 18s. The only difference now is that the US value is now 8% higher, so it's technically still over 20 Canadian on my neck of the woods. I'm still easily able to get maples for 25 and even be able to barter them lower. Next week I'll be in a town which actually has a coin shop. My strategy? First to see how much I buy online with the shipping. How much is it per coin? Now I know what to barter. If I can go online and buy it at, say, with shipping, $24.79 Canadian, let's assume that's what it is, then why would I want to pay $25 per ounce Canadian there? I'm going to try to barter, and the best I'll probably, or the highest I'd probably go is about 24 2/3. But that's different strategies. When you're buying silver, you're talking to people, bartering and using people skills can get you some savings, maybe an extra ounce or two, depending on, of course, your quantity. I've also been noticing these gas prices in the local area. Pretty high, and this is just almost giving me that yellow flag. Man, is this telling me that this is like, get your ass in gear to get more of the physical? Are prices just going to start to rampage higher? And even if it's true, is it possible maybe first we get this move, then it goes higher? Maybe it doesn't even make that move. And do you care? If you buy today, it comes down here, do you really even care? If you could perfectly time the market, man, you're going to be rich and you are a genius. And how the heck are you doing it that perfectly over and over and over again? So those are some of the things that I've been considering, but looking at this 18 average, it has not been above, of course, this 18 average of closes for quite some time. It's going to at some point. I'm still waiting for this thing to go sideways, break above it, establish resistance, come back and break. But of course, right now, there's a decent amount of time for that to take place. That'll be it for the silver analysis. Let's go over Palladium for about a couple minutes or so. 51-day chart. So again, looking at about, I said quarter century, I should have said 1/5 of a century, I guess, regardless of the fact. Fibonacci retracement from the 2000 highs and the 2002 lows. The 38.2% somewhere around here, obviously, move from point A to point B has failed, and it has failed quite some time ago. This high is the matching high of the $50 silver, but things are a lot different within this chart. 4 comes back to this 18 average, doesn't even flatten out. Therefore, this bull market still in play, not even went neutral, but even now, it's breaking short-term resistance, testing the previous high, thus breaking next level right in there. I've also talked so much about before, failed move, fast move. Okay, so you got this failed move in here possibly, break above it. Now what I want to do is come back, find support, and then break established resistance. Well, that's the established resistance. But interestingly enough, you got silver getting completely destroyed, over 50% down from its 2011 highs. And here we have Palladium down about 5% or so from its 2011 highs. But because, of course, the currency supply, the value, the real tangible value being so bad, the lower they make these silver prices go, the more tempting and lumptious, you could say, it is to acquire more. Now that's my feeling. Do what you gotta do. You make your own decisions, and good luck to you. Thank you for tuning in to today's video. Take care.